All right, I think we're live. Hey, everybody, this is Ren Carothers, and this is your Future Stars Friday forecast. Before we get into it, I have a very special guest on the line. I want to remind you, Breeders' Cup tickets go on sale March 9th. And you're probably thinking, March 9th? Breeders' Cup's not till November 6th and 7th. Well, hello. It's taking place at Keeneland, the heart of horse country in Lexington, so you do not want to delay in getting your tickets. Even general admission, limited quantity. So get on that. March 9th, they open to the general public. Now, to my guest, whom I'm so happy to have back on with me. He's been on twice before. Fantastic every time. And that is Jason Loutsch of Albaugh Family Stable. They have one of our top Derby contenders going in, making his 2020 debut in the Fountain of Youth, going after those Kentucky Derby points. And that is Dennis's moment. How are you, Jason?
Oh, I'm doing great. I'm really excited. The day's finally here. It's been a long 4 months since the last time he ran, and it's just I can't believe that we're on the eve of the race finally. It just seems like it's so long ago, but we're real excited and just excited to see what Dennis is going to do tomorrow. We're expecting big things.
Oh, it must be, this almost surreal feeling that, as you're saying, the day is nearly here. Because, before we actually went live, I was talking to you a little bit on the phone, and we were talking about how, I've seen other people say this online. I kind of feel the same way with the horse coming out on debut, losing the rider, and then going into the TVG Juvenile out of the gate, lost all chance, in between putting on two phenomenal performances, that of course breaking his maiden at Ellis Park by over 19 lengths, and then that was with a 97 buyer, by the way, and then going on into the Iroquois and getting those 10 points toward the Kentucky Derby that day. And the margin of victory, not huge. I think it was a length and 3/4, but the performance was deceivingly really, really good. So in your opinion, do you feel like this horse really, he's kind of going into this untested because he's had those two problems?
Yeah, there's so much unknown, and again, thanks for having me on. We're so excited to be a part of your show, and thank you for all you do for horse racing.
But thank you, Jason.
Yeah, there's so much unknown. We think we have a tremendous horse, and unfortunately he's had two bad races, and we just kind of put a line through those, and we hope that he just shows up the way we think he is, the way he's ran those two races that he's won. But that's the scary part. You just going into your 3-year-old year, you just don't really know until they have that race. And so we think he's doing tremendous. He's training great. Dale's saying all the right things, obviously, but until he shows it, and that's kind of been our slogan. Dale. I talk to Dale every day, and our slogan this year is really, Dale, let's just prove it. We know we have a good horse. The world continues to talk, positive, negative, whatever they want to say about Dennis. We think he's a great horse, but we got to prove it, and that's what we're trying to do tomorrow. And he's got to prove that he belongs as one of the top 3-year-olds, and we hope he shows that tomorrow.
Well, he gave every indication that he's the type of horse that you want to look at on the Derby trail, because not only did he show that precocious talent, but he really has a solid pedigree that gets better with age. He, of course, is a son of Hall of Famer Tiznow, the only horse to have ever won the Breeders' Cup Classic twice. Tiznow himself didn't start his career until he was 3 years old. And we already saw that type of body type to Dennis's moment. Tell me, let's go back. After the TVG Juvenile, can you remind our viewers what happened after that and what he's been up to between then and now?
Well, after the race, I just held my breath for about 48 hours to make sure that he was 100% sound. And once I got that confirmation that everything was fine and he was going to be okay, we just took a deep breath and we just said, let's give Dennis 30 to 45 days of just relaxation, let him regroup. And we knew that we had a big 3-year-old campaign ahead of us. And so Dale did call me and say, are we sure we don't want to run him in the Jockey Club or the rims in? I said, Dale, we made a plan before the race. Either one of those races is going to get us qualified for the Kentucky Derby. Let's just stay with our plan. Let's get him some rest and get him ready for one of the biggest campaigns of our racing career, as far as going into the 3-year-old campaign. And that we think also so much of this horse that we give him some relaxation at Windstar Farm and just let him eat some grass and be a horse, and put him back in training around December 15th. And he hasn't missed a day of training. He hasn't missed a work. He's like he's never even stopped training. He's just been tremendous, and he keeps going forward. And I'm just so excited that hopefully the pedigree takes over. And Tiznow and him, steps up, and as he gets older, he gets better. And that's just what I'm praying for.
Absolutely. So when he was at WinStar, how cool is that? Because that's where his daddy is, right?
Exactly. And then a neat little bit, yeah.
You gotta love that. I mean, you drew post 5, which is a great draw. 2-1 on the morning line. You have Flavien Prat aboard because his regular rider, Rad Ortiz Jr., is riding over in Saudi Arabia this weekend. So, just looking at his works, I mean, going back, he's already got a bullet on the tab back on February 2nd at Gulfstream Park, 58-2. It must have been very encouraging to see that. He put in another 58-3 work back on February 15th, then a nice maintenance drill on February 23rd. Do you have gotten word back? I've seen photos, I've seen some video. He looks tremendous to me, but I'm not there close up to see him in the flesh. How do you think he's matured physically?
Yeah, really, that's a question I ask Dale all the time. I'm excited. I actually laid my eyes on him since the Breeders' Cup.
Oh, wow.
I'm excited to see him tomorrow. But every indication, every picture I've got says that he is really growing into a nice 3-year-old, and that's what we expected. So going in, we're just couldn't be happier the way he's training, the way he looks, but the bottom line is we just need him to run like we think he can. And I hate to say it this way, but we need to quit talking about Dennis, and he needs to perform because we give a lot of accolades to Dennis, but it's time for him to step up and run this race that we think he can run. Because,
I hear you.
I think people are getting tired of talking about Dennis and not performing. So
we're waiting to see what we all think he has.
Exactly, and we know he's talented, and he's had some bad racing luck, and that happens. But we just, as a horse owner, you always dream to having a horse that's this good, and you just hope that he can take that next step as a 3-year-old, and he can be that horse that everyone dreams of having someday. And I just hope tomorrow that he takes that step and shows us that he's the one that we thought we had.
Now, have you been listening to the rumblings going on? Now, the Fountain of Youth drew a field of 12, but that being said, Chance It is on the outside, and Safi Joseph was talking about how that draw he feels really compromises his horse's chances. We're also, we've also heard rumblings that the Biancone horse, Ete Indien, the 11 horse, also with that wide draw, they're thinking about potentially scratching. Now, when I look at this race on paper and the fact that Dennis has shown versatility, whether being, setting the pace or being able to rate, does that affect, how you're looking at the race at all? Or do you feel whether they stay in or come out, it's not going to be a huge factor to how he runs his race?
I'm really kind of got my blinders on when I'm thinking about the race, just thinking about Dennis breaking it from the gate.
Yeah.
And just getting through that. But I have studied the race, and I know that those guys are, they have a tough draw. I know what that's about. I drew the 1 hole in the Breeders' Cup, and so I know what that's like of getting a tough draw. And I know they're going to have to send their horses. I just want to say, I just want Dennis to run a race with no issues and just see how good he is. I want to know where we stand with this class, and so I know those horses are going to have to, show speed early and get break. I'm just hoping for a good solid trip and lay right behind those guys because I know they're going to have to show speed, and I think if we can get out in the clear and staying right behind those guys, that I know with his pedigree and how far he wants to run, that I think he'll finish strong, and I'm expecting a big race.
Now, this is going to be his 3rd rider with Flavien taking fourth, but although Robbie didn't really get to, he wasn't on for that long. And we can only joke because Robbie was okay. But that being said, this horse, and also on top of it, having shown the versatility in his running style, he's obviously got a really good mind. So has Flavien been on him before? And if not, you've got to think that it doesn't matter.
No, Flavien hasn't been on him, and and that's not, to me, it's not a big deal because he's one of the best riders in the country, and Dale doesn't put his jockeys on the works, on the weekends when he works, and Tammy works our horses, and so, anytime you're dealing with a jockey that's a Flavien Prat, it's funny. I went golfing today with my father-in-law. I said, Dennis, do you know who won the Kentucky Derby last year? What jockey? And he's like, you know what? I don't. I said, Flavien Prat. Yeah. I said, we got the jockey that won the Kentucky Derby last year, and had that unbelievable trip, and so I have so much confidence in him. Honestly, he's doing a tremendous job on our horse for Bob Baffert and 1,000 Words.
Yes.
When his jock agent called me about a month ago and said, hey, if Irad ends up going to Saudi Arabia, would you consider us? And I said, it did take me long to say yes. I mean, I have tremendous respect for what they've done and how he rides. I think he's a tremendous rider, and so if you got enough horse under you, you got the right horse, I think those guys can do about anything. So I have tremendous confidence in Flavien tomorrow.
Well, the nice thing also that one of the things that I always think about when I'm watching races is jockeys' hands. As somebody who comes from a show background, it always is more impressive to me when you see these jockeys make near imperceptible moves because their hands are just that good. They're able to keep the horse together, communicate with the horse. They're not yanking, they're not pulling, they're not wasting energy that way. And obviously Flavien is a top-tier jockey who has that quality about him. And as you were mentioning, he rode 1,000 words to victory already. And 1,000 words, we always talk about a picture is worth 1,000 words. He's taken 3 winner circle photos, and he is your other Kentucky Derby hopeful. You own him in conjunction with, I believe, Spendthrift.
Correct.
All right.
I'm excited about him.
He's won the Los Alamitos Futurity, and then followed it up with a score in the Robert B. Lewis. Talk to me about this horse. He's a son of Pioneer of the Nile. Obviously, Pioneer of the Nile got not only a Derby winner, but a Triple Crown champion, an American Pharaoh. He himself was second in the Kentucky Derby.
He's probably one of the best horses that I've ever bought at the sale. And the Keeneland sale when we bought him and Dennis both. Well, we bought Dennis at Fasig, but at the Keeneland sale when we bought 1,000 Words, he's probably the best looking individual I've ever bought at a sale. He was just so perfect. And son of Pioneer of the Nile, we were so excited. We knew we were going to have to spend some money to get this horse, and so we partnered up with our great friends at Spendthrift, who've been great partners of ours, and ironically we said, let's see if we can get this horse for 8. We thought we'd each have to throw in 400, and of course it went sailing over that. And thank God we were sitting together in the sales ring, and I'm like, they kept bumping, okay, one more. Honestly, that was the last bid that we had that we were done, and I'm so thankful that they agreed to do that because he's a special horse. And then when he got to Barely Berkheimer in Ocala at Abracadabra Farms, and Barry called me and said, "This horse is a Grade 1 horse. I'm telling you, this horse trains it. He's just so special." And Barry doesn't call me and tell me that very often. And when he does, it gets me excited. So he was right. This horse is special. He just does enough to win. And what Bob keeps telling me, and I hope it stands true, is the longer we go, the better he's going to get. Yeah. So,
but that's the nice thing. He's got that nice balance. Like Dennis has that too. Dennis is by Tiznow out of an elusive quality mare, and then 1,000 Words by Pioneer of the Nile out of a Pomeroy mare, who's she was accomplished herself. But then you get some more stamina because that second dam is by Point Given.
Yep.
Point Given.
So we're real excited.
Yeah.
I think we can get those mile and eighth next prep races at the the San Antonio Derby or wherever we decide to go, and then if we're lucky enough to get qualified for the first Saturday in May, I just think that he's a horse. Maybe somewhere in the country house where he just keeps going and grinding, and you never know what's going to happen. So we're real excited about that. I still don't think we've seen the bottom of him. He just kind of does enough to get by, and he's still learning. He's only ran 3 times. That's not a lot of races for a 3-year-old. So we still think there's a lot more in the tank, and we're excited about him. And I think maybe we'll get to see him next weekend. So
in the San Felipe.
Yeah. So
nice. March 7th.
Bob's got to separate these horses.
I know, because
exactly where we're going. But,
he's got Nadal. He's got. I think Nadal's going Rebel. I don't know for sure.
I think we're going to have to run against Authentic, which is scary because he's tough. And he's, in a mile and 16th, he'll be extra tough. But, I just want to see a solid race in him. And I think if we get first or second, that solidifies that we'll be in the starting gate in Churchill. And that's what we're looking for, because I think if we can get to a mile and a quarter, that we can be extra tough. So it's exciting times, and we're really going to cherish the heck out of this, because this is just uncharted territories that think that we could have 2 horses qualifying. And it's just so much fun. And we went golfing today, and we're so excited down here. And let me tell you, chilly Florida. It's cold down here.
Is it? Horses love that.
It was high of 63 today. It was like, I thought, where's the 80s?
Oh my goodness. Well, so going back to what you were just saying about 1,000 Words, winning that Los Alamitos Futurity, Los Alamitos has the longest stretch in North America, or in the United States anyway, I believe all of North America.
Yeah.
But it's nice that he likes that type of thing, because obviously Churchill Downs, that stretch is long too.
Absolutely. And when that horse came up on him and he saw him, and he just took it in their gear, it's like he just does enough. He knows where he's at. I just hope I know there's more in the tank, so I'm excited about his future.
I know we might be jumping ahead, but of course, I'm the type of person who thinks, glass half full. Let's say everything goes great. Let's say you get both horses in the gate. Another thing to be excited about, I think, is that we are going to have a 20-horse stall gate that doesn't include an auxiliary.
Yeah,
it's a 20. Isn't that great?
Yeah.
That's something exciting.
Nice.
So let's go back to Dennis's moment, though, because this is his moment, of course. You say you haven't seen him yet since the Breeders' Cup. Are you going to go to the barn in the morning, or are you just going to wait and hope to
No, I'm going. Actually, we have a horse in the second race tomorrow, a maiden rid, and so I'm going to go there about really early. It's going to be a long day, but a great day. So this is what horsemen live for, is to think that I'm waking up. As a kid, I've always wanted to run in the Fountain with Youth.
Really?
This is my first time ever running the Fountain with Youth, and so it's a special day for our stable and family. And we got a lot of family and friends here, and so we're going to really enjoy the day. And after the second race, I'll go back to the barn for a while and just kind of chill out and enjoy Dennis a little bit. He's such a cool horse. I don't know if you've seen some videos of him this week of that deal with him doing some therapy with his, and he stuck his tongue out. I mean, he's just such a smart horse. I've never seen a horse that on cue can do what he does. And
I liked and retweeted that.
When it's business and game time, he knows it. So I'm real excited for tomorrow.
Well, that was part of it was funny when we were at the barn ahead of the TVG Juvenile. Tammy Fox, Dale's wife, and who gets on Dennis in the morning, she loved this photo she had of the Breeders' Cup hat on top of Dennis's head. Now Dale, on the other hand, he's like, this is not a pet.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's the thing. He's so sweet. Ahead of this interview, I actually promoted the interview with, I know you saw the photo of you with him and myself. And I did that not only because promoting the interview itself, but to show what a sweet horse this is. We've been really blessed in racing with these top tier horses. A lot of them just have had such great dispositions like this. It's really easy to root for them and be a fan favorite when you see just how kind they are.
And that's what's neat about this game. And I just hope that he's the next story. I hope someone commented on one of those comments that he has a future in TV. And I just hope someday we're writing a movie about him. So.
Well, it's exciting, and we're gonna, like I said, hope we see what we've been waiting to see with him. But I also want to revisit two things that I thought were cute. One, can you remind everybody why he's named Dennis's Moment?
Yep, absolutely. He's named after my father-in-law, who once I got word from Barry at the farm that he was a special horse, I have named the horse after my father-in-law. And the amount of investment that he's put in this game and how much fun he had, I just thought it'd be special to name the horse after him. And never did I dream it would be that we'd be having this much fun, because it's been just, for our family, this has meant so much. And to have a horse named after him, it's just been awesome. And we've had so much fun the last, I guess it hasn't even been a year yet, but there's so much more to the story, hopefully, and we're going to enjoy this because it could be a fun spring for our family and friends, and just he's having a ball with it.
That's for sure. He was so nice. I got to meet him at the barn too ahead of the Breeders' Cup, and you can tell one of the things that's been great about just about everybody I've ever had on this show is that not only are there the connections of the horses, the human connections, and they're great ambassadors for their horses because obviously horses can't speak, but that being said, you all are fans of your horse too, and that really makes you relatable. We all feel, with people like you and your father, and like I said, other guests I've had on the show, we really all get to feel like we're taking a ride along with all of you. And
we want that more than anything. We want you guys to be a part of it, and anyone that's there tomorrow, if we were so fortunate enough to win, that we'd love to have people come down the winner's circle. Aww. Because those are moments as a kid that I wish I could have done, and so I want better people to experience those instances where we're going to take place in, that we have taken place, and experience those moments that I never got to do as a kid, or as going to the races at Prairie Meadows or Exarban, wherever we were at. So anyone that's out there listening to this, if sometime we're in the winner's circle, it might be tomorrow, it might be another time, please join us because we'd love to have you.
I wish I were there. Oh, well, I also want to give a shout out to a couple of horses you've had a hand in who we're pretty excited about already. And that, of course, is Liam's Map, who's at stud. And Liam's Map, oh my gosh, Liam's Map, Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile winner. I believe he has the record for the Dirt Mile, if I remember right. And the thing about him, he's now been at stud his first crop race. He's got 2 Grade 1 winners in Wicked Whisper, Frizette.
We were just talking about that today. I'm like, Dennis said, "You think not this time's going to be able to do it?"
His half brother, right?
James Matt did. I said, "Dennis, you won 2 Grade 1s as 2-year-olds." I said, "I don't know that too many stallions have done that in their first year." I said, "That's remarkable. I'm so proud of that, and I'm so thankful that Lane's Inn's taking great care of him because he's just a special horse." And it's so much fun to watch all his offspring run because they've been running great.
Yeah, Basin won the Hopeful. But you just mentioned his half brother. Not this time, and not this time. I'm hearing buzz about his babies. Are you hearing it too?
We're really excited. We're getting great reviews from the 2-year-old training horses and the Pinhookers and the farms down in Ocala saying great things. And I get pictures. I don't know if they're trying to get me to buy the horses at the 2-year-old sales or they're just telling me. But they've been sending me videos, and it's so exciting to see his offspring because he was just such a talent. And unfortunately, we didn't get to see that. But
second in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile.
This next month at the Ocala at the OBS sales, they'll start selling in the 2-year-old training sales, and we're hearing nothing but great things. So we're so excited to have, every day I'll be waking up and looking at the form to see how many not this times are racing that day. It's going to be great.
That's awesome. And again, your family's been so great, letting us all take a ride with you and your horses. Wishing you the best tomorrow. Let's see Dennis get out of that gate cleanly and run a fair race, and let's see what happens.
Absolutely, I really appreciate it, and thanks for having me on. And I hope we're talking many more times before the May 2nd.
You know I love having you on. You always have an open invite on my show. So thank you so much for everything, Jason.
I appreciate it, and tell Matt hi, and
I will.
Look forward to talking to you soon.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.
This has been your Future Stars Friday forecast. I'm your host, Ren Carothers. Ren, to all my friends out there. Now, before I go, I do want to remind you that he's not the only horse from the Future Stars Friday card who will be running tomorrow. Also, in the Fountain of Youth, you have Gear Jockey. This horse is making his... There'll be his 3rd lifetime start on dirt. He debuted on dirt, then been running on turf. He was 3rd, beaten just a length off Structor in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf. Then he tried dirt last out. Will be now making his 2020 debut on the main track in the Fountain of Youth with Julien Leparoux for George Rusty Arnold. And then earlier on the card, it's race 9. That is the Here Comes the Bride. We're going to see Abscon making her second start of the year. She was last 3rd, being 3/4 of a length in the Ginger Brew Stakes, and we'll see how she does in her second start of the year. One more reminder, again, March 9th, Breeders' Cup tickets go on sale to the general public. Remember, it's at Keeneland, so you do not want to wait to get your spot. Again, I'm Ren Carothers. This has been your Future Stars Friday forecast. I will see you next week.